I've seen lots of complaints on Tempered Rey Dau being considered too easy and not worthy of being Tempered. There are a few points I agree on, such as people feeling that Tempered Mitsune is harder, and that is a somewhat fair take depending on the player, but I want to explain why I don't think it's that simple. I'm a big fan of the design of this fight. I think it's really cool. People seem to be complaining that Tempered Rey Dau can't one-shot you, but I believe that this is the intention. This is the point of the fight. The way that Tempered Rey Dau is supposed to kill you is by comboing you off another attack. If you've done the fight, you'll notice that it does attacks very fast, like one after another. So you kind of reward yourself by learning these combos and the timings of when to evade, attack, get up, example. My guess is that they didn't want people to deal with one-shot attacks, since it can feel kind of artificial at times when you get killed by something like that. And the thing is, I have seen a lot of people dying to these combos. So I think it's pretty well designed, and it's pretty punishing if you don't know the fight for an Tempered. It also has some new attacks that have caught people off guard, such as the rail cannon beam underneath itself. It kind of like aims at its beep beep. Whilst the hitbox is a bit wrong with the animation and effect, I think it is a good attack for the difficulty that Tempered should be. And as mentioned before, it does another attack straight after, which will cart the player if they play the situation wrong. I've also noticed that the stun threshold seems to be higher, as in, I've seen a lot more people getting stunned by it. I don't know if this is true, maybe it's just because, it attacks more, so people are getting hit more and stunned more. But it reminds me of Tempered Kirin in World. If you're a player who isn't the greatest at dodging, then this might force you to implement certain skills into your build, such as stun resistance, which I think an Tempered level monster should be doing. Now, I do think it could use another attack, maybe like another rail cannon attack, but it's supercharged, so it will one-shot you, but it has a long charge up time, so it gives the player a decent amount of time to react as long as they don't panic. And I think it would satisfy the people who are like, oh, Rey Dau doesn't one-shot you. Now, some people have said that it doesn't feel like it has enough health, and I can understand this. But I think this applies to many monsters in this game, not just Tempered Rey Dau. I actually haven't looked into it, but it also feels like it doesn't get wounded as much, which I think is a good lead in the right direction. But I do believe it could use a bit more health, even if it's just like 5 or 10%, because there is a general problem in this game where everything dies too fast. One of my main complaints is actually that you can capture it. It feels weird that an Tempered monster can be beaten just by simply capturing it. Like, to me, that feels like capturing an Elder Dragon almost. I'm glad that the challenge quest is going to be a slay. That is how it should be. I know it's a weird complaint, but it's the small details that can drastically change someone's vision or opinion on something. And this is one small detail about the fight that irks me. I think Tempered is supposed to be, it's like a mantle of strength, and you shouldn't beat that by just capturing it. Something I do want to mention is that a lot of people are complaining about the difficulty compared to World Tempered, but I don't remember the Tempereds in World Iceborne being that hard either, for the most part. Tempered No Gigante, Xenodiva, and Velkhana, they were difficult, and Kirin was pretty annoying at times with the CC, but Teostra, Valhazak, Kush, Luna, Zora, Kolv, and Namiel, I don't remember their fights being that hard. I don't know if I'm misremembering, but I don't remember struggling with them like the other ones I named. I just remember them being pretty long. Like, they could be like 20 minutes long, maybe even 25. Maybe this is what people want back, but I think Capcom are trying to shorten quest times for people to be more accessible for newer players. If you were to ask me, I also enjoy the longer quest times, but new players is always nice to have, and I think they are probably more preferring the shorter quest times that we have. Now, in comparison to other monsters, such as Tempered Mitsutsune and Raw Magara, it does feel weird that they are on a similar difficulty level than Tempered Rey Dau. I can understand Gore being hard, like it's a demi-elder now, right? So I think it's understandable that Gore's difficult, but seeing Mitsutsune at this difficulty is weird. Like, I know Mitsutsune is also an Apex in its own logic, but this is an Tempered. It shouldn't be as hard as an Tempered monster. I do think Tempered Rey Dau is probably hard for the majority of players, but seeing Tempered Mitsune do more damage than Tempered Rey Dau with a tail slam, it just feels wrong. My overall opinion is that the fight is well designed, just the numbers could be tweaked a bit. This has come from someone who has thousands of hours in the franchise, so there's clear bias in my answer, and perhaps you would maybe get a better answer from a newer player, but nevertheless, this is my answer. I enjoyed the fight. I'd say my only major complaint is that you can capture it, but in the challenge quest you can't capture it anyway, so I guess it's somewhat resolved. Just feels weird that it is still capturable in the other quest. This is kind of a weird and maybe irrelevant take, but it should have been Tempered Ufduna first, since that is technically the first Apex you face in the story, but I'm guessing more to do it by regional order, or maybe because Rey Dau is hype and they were like, let's do him first to pull people in. To me, Ufduna just seems like the weakest, and it's probably my least favorite. I don't hate it, it's just my least favorite of the 4 Apexes. So perhaps they thought that the first Apex, it needs to be something hype. Like the first Tempered needs to be something hype to pull people in. And I do believe that Rey Dau is one of, if not the best new monsters they've made. I don't mean to trash talk Ufduna. It's a good monster, it's just my least favorite Apex. So if we're on the topic of Tempered Apexes, it is the one I care for the least. Maybe they cook really hard with the Tempered version though. Okay, so yeah. Fight is fine design-wise. I think it's very fun design-wise. Could use some small number changes, but it is being overhated by people who've probably put a crazy amount of time into the franchise and need to realize that this fight is probably messing up newer players. That's pretty much all I've got to say, so I hope you've enjoyed this little discussion. Leave a comment on what you think of the fight. Rey Dau is still my favorite new monster in the game, so maybe I'm biased, but he is bestest boy currently in Wilds. I do hope there is more stuff they do with him. They will 99.9% guaranteed make a variant or subspecies of him in Mastering, so I can't wait to see that. But yeah, that's about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.